The British Columbia provincial election is at the end of this month, and we have our first debate in order. Today, it's going to be happening, so let's catch up on British Columbia politics. Now, before we get into this video, I want to leave a link in the description down below. If you're a British Columbia resident and you're not already registered to vote, get over there. What are you doing? Make sure you're registered to vote so you can vote in this election. Now, the polling data that's coming out is showing that it's a close contention between the BC NDP and the BC Conservative Party. Sorry, watermelons out there that want to talk about the Green Party. I'm not going to be talking a lot about it. It's virtually irrelevant. There might be a couple of seats won, but yeah, this isn't largely the grand scheme of things. Of course, polling all over the place. It's back and forth. Popular vote looks like the Conservatives are winning that, but it looks like the odds of winning the most seats are in the BC NDP. So if you're a Conservative voter and you're concerned about this, perhaps get that message out there and get on that vote, because, well, here we are in British Columbia and we've seen the way it's been going with the NDP, and a lot of people would argue, myself included, that possibly we should be looking at something else moving forward, and it looks like the only option is the Conservatives. But that's my opinion. You can have yours. Leave a comment in the comment section down below if you've got one. Anyway, let's get into this. BC NDP leader David Eby has written to Conservative leader John Rustad in an open letter. Of course, he wouldn't write to him publicly about this, or privately about this, urging him to drop candidates Eby says have dangerous and extreme views. Well, what are dangerous and extreme views to the extreme left? Well, just about anything normal. I don't know, maybe having a family and 2.5 kids and a couple of cars in the driveway. That is extreme views to people on the very extreme left. I mean, just look at the way British Columbia has been going. This is an extreme left province, and well, a lot of people are starting to realize what that exactly means. Now, of course, John Rustad is in the lead because, well, the BC United Party, which was formerly the Liberals, has officially dropped out of the race, and now it's really just between the NDP and the Conservatives. There was a concern there for a while that there was going to be some vote splitting, but yeah, the United Party is no longer in the race. It is really just up to the BC Conservatives and the BC NDP. Now, of course, slinging mud at John Rustad, saying that he's a crank, he's a crazy, and there's people with very dangerous and extreme views. So John Rustad was asked this in a press conference, to which he answered this.
Do you have an overall plan to address the NDP's determined effort to paint you as kind of a crank? That's their goal. How are you going to combat that?
Thank you for that question. Look, here's the reality. People are dying on our streets today from drugs. People are dying on our streets today from crime. 1 in 3 people are thinking about leaving this province. 1 in 2 youth, because they don't feel safe and because they can't afford to being here. We have a crisis in affordability. Our healthcare system's in collapsing. There is nothing in this province that is better off under David Eby. His radical ideology has created nothing but grief and problems in this province, and so he's going to do everything he possibly can to distract from that, because he doesn't want to talk about his record. And so I accept that. You know, he's going to be out there. He's actually outright lying about what we are as a Conservative Party, and I just look at that as weak leadership and a desperate leadership, knowing that he can't defend what he's doing. So we're going to be out continually talking positive about what we're doing and what we want to do for the people in British Columbia, while pointing out these shortfalls and how we will fix these problems that David Eby has created for people in British Columbia.
So there are a lot of issues in British Columbia, and one of the big issues is housing. The expense that it costs just to live here, just to keep a roof over your head, is astronomically difficult. And of course, the federal government and the provincial governments alike and municipal governments are not making things easy for the residents of British Columbia. Here's Financial Post saying, opinion, the tax man is coming for your homes. Government doesn't tax capital gains on people's homes, but they tax almost everything else about your homes. And they're looking for more. They're absolutely looking for more. And all kinds of new taxes have been coming into play, and reassessments and ways of getting any little penny, pinching those pennies out of you, including the federal government musing about taxing unrealized capital gains. Unrealized capital gains. So if your house, you bought it ages ago and you could sell it today for a profit, but you're not planning on selling, you want to live in it, you want to consume the property. No, that doesn't matter. They want to come in and they want to tax you. Now, John Rustad has put forward a plan, to which Bradney here says it's over for Ebby. Of course, he announces a plan to let British Columbians deduct up to $3,000 per month for mortgage and rent payments from their income tax. This obviously is provincial income tax. Your federal income tax would remain roughly the same, but your first $3,000 will be deducted from that. They won't be taxing that, and rent payments from their income tax. So this is homeowners and renters. So this is everybody, unless you're getting free rent, unless you're sitting pretty and you don't pay any cost. But yeah, you'll be up to $3,000 per month. So you'll be able to write off your what it costs for you to live in British Columbia if this conservative government gets in. Paying less taxes and potentially generating rebates cost $3.5 billion. Calls it one of the most significant tax reliefs ever given, and this is massive tax relief. Now, of course, this has been not the way of the NDP. Increasing taxes, increasing penalties, increasing what we would have to pay is what they've been putting along. But it is election season, so hey, here comes David Eby saying he's going to come in with some tax cuts. Now, why he didn't do this the entire tenure that he was in? Why is it now? He's just having a change of heart when it comes to taxation on the average person. Of course, David Eby, with the NDP being the ones that brought in the carbon tax for British Columbians. We were the experiment in the rest of Canada on, hey, can we bring in carbon taxation? Now, obviously, he's now saying that he would lift the carbon tax if the federal government were to lift the carbon tax. Now, see, in British Columbia, if they were to lift the carbon tax, the federal government would come in and tax the citizens of British Columbia. I mean, could do what some other provinces have been doing and saying, well, we're just not going to collect those taxes for you. You, as the federal government, the onus is on you to come and collect those taxes. Do what you got to do. But, of course, these are all campaign promises, and it doesn't sound like this is where they're going to go because they don't have a track record of doing any of this stuff. Today, John Rustad pledged that under a Conservative Party of British Columbia, there will be no new taxes without a referendum first. And this has always been the contention between voters and government, is taxation without representation. What is this? You're not taxing us. We're not getting even a say in this. Yeah, we vote you in every so many years, but you come in and you just dip your fingers into our pockets. Now, John Rustad is saying, no. If they need to increase taxes for any reason, it's going to go to referendum. It's going to go to a vote of the people. The people will get a decision in this. And hopefully they can put legislation forward where it always remains that way, where taxation can't be in there without representation. But here we are now. Of course, misrepresentations all over the place. Here's Mark Farnworth posting a thing from the mainstream media trying to paint John Rustad as a guy who's just going to bring that crime right back.
The provincial NDP is raising concerns about the Conservative leader's commitment to enforcing national gun regulations.
From my perspective, I think that's an overreach by government, and so I will not have any provincial resources being spent on their initiative.
John Rustad was commenting on changes to firearms laws brought in last year. They put new restrictions on handguns and place new restrictions on firearms. Rustad said,
okay, so I just gotta throw this in there as this is playing because this is ridiculous. The new restrictions are on legal firearms owners. The new restrictions that have come in are limiting what legally you can own. What they're showing here has always been illegal. Transferring firearms inside of a car, transferring firearms, all of these criminals with firearms have always been illegal. The changes to the law have not affected the legality of the criminals that have been bringing in guns. And of course, this is a misnomer when they start showing clips of this stuff in response to what John Rustad was saying. Now, John Rustad was saying was he's not going to enforce. Well, I'll let him say it for himself because, well, this is where it is.
Regarding your party's position on federal gun laws, you said at a meet and greet in Fort St. John on August 12th, quote, "You will instruct police not to enforce those laws," end quote. I would assume you were talking about Bill C-21, but can you just elaborate on what you meant and where your party stands when it comes to federal gun laws?
So I think the gun laws that have been brought in by the federal government looking to take away and to seize guns from law-abiding citizens in British Columbia, I think is the wrong approach, especially when you're out in rural BC and with people that are there. So from my perspective, I think that's an overreach by government, and so I will not have any provincial resources being spent on their initiative. If they want to go ahead, fill their boots, but that's not something that, from a province's perspective, we would spend any resources doing.
So that makes a lot of sense. Let's not go after law-abiding citizens in the province. And that's what Bill C-21 was really targeting. And that's, again, when they show images of illegal activity, that's not really what that bill was targeting at all. Those laws are already on the books. They can already go after criminals that have unregistered firearms, that have it's very difficult to get your hands on any of these things legally. And that's not what they're going after. They're going after legal firearms owners. But that's not the only misrepresentation that's happening in the media. Of course, they're going after the Conservatives for saying all kinds of things, but at the end of the day, it's really good initiatives. These are good initiatives. The BC Conservatives say that they would shift away from heat pumps and electric cars and go towards nuclear power with more room for natural gas. Of course, these are all the initiatives that the NDP have been going towards to secure. Well, they would, a lot of people would say, hey, this is for environmental protection. But when you look at the last premier of British Columbia, when he retired, he went to the coal board. Why would he be getting rid of natural gas and stopping natural gas from going forward? Well, he had buddies in the coal industry. It's about competition. It's not really about the environment. John Rustad saying, hey, we need to have a vibrant economy. Let's have competition all over the place. Let's not stifle competition. Let's put it forward. Of course, the slander keeps coming. John Rustad and the Conservatives are not, sensitive to Native or Indigenous issues. Well, it turns out to be not the case either, judging by who's running in the Chilliwack Cultus Lake region for the Conservatives.
Hi, my name is Alia Warbis. I'm from Chilliwack, British Columbia, Stalo Nation, and I'm running for Chilliwack Cultus Lake. I was really motivated to accept the nomination to run for the Conservatives and encouraged by a few of my colleagues to meet with John Rustad. And we had such alignment in our values and our ideas to benefit not just my community, but all British Columbians. As a proud member of the Stalo Nation, I'm committed to bringing Indigenous voices to the forefront of BC politics. We have been overrepresented in a lot of the negative statistics. In terms of drug use and drug overdose, we're basically facing an epidemic right now. Under the harm reduction policies introduced by the BC NDP, it's not getting any better. Enabling people doesn't work. A common sense government is not going to install vending machines with crack pipes and drug paraphernalia in emergency rooms that just anyone can access. In terms of the healthcare crisis that we're facing right now, There are many distressing things that are happening across the province, including emergency rooms that are closing and not available to people, wait times at emergency rooms that are 8 to 10 hours, and that's not okay. What I struggle with the BC NDP is that they are a party focused on ideology, not outcomes for everyday British Columbians. We do not need to be told what to think. We need our basic needs met. They are trying to use ideologies to divide people and not bring us together to work for the greater good. What I think the BC NDP has gotten wrong about BC Conservatives is that we don't care about climate change, we don't care about people, and that we don't care about the working class. It's the complete opposite. We want to do things responsibly. We want to use our natural resources in a way that's going to both benefit us and be responsible for the overall picture of the environment. What I like about John Rustad, he fights for all people. And it does not matter what your class, race, or beliefs are. He's here to serve British Columbians from his heart and from what he truly believes in. If you want your tax dollars going to frontline services rather than layers of bureaucracy, if you want shorter wait times at the emergency room, if you want to feel safe in your community, vote for the Conservative Party of British Columbia.
That's quite the message. That is quite the message. Again, I'm going to encourage people to get registered, get out there, make sure you're voting in this election, because, well, you won't be able to say anything about the outcome if you didn't go and vote. That's really what it comes down to. Now, the Conservative platform saying radical energy experiment. Yeah, let's end EB's radical energy experiment. Let's stop radical electric vehicle mandates, natural gas bans, driving up costs. Seriously, the electric vehicle mandates alone, they're just going to drive up the cost of any vehicles, period. You can't make quotas on things like that. Restore BC's energy independence, eliminating costly imports, expand hydroelectric development, natural gas, and building cutting-edge energy infrastructure. Lift the ban on nuclear power and explore small modular reactors. This is the way of the future. This is the way of energy moving forward. Now, the BC debate is going to be today. During the day. I think might end up going over this tonight in a live stream. Perhaps we'll see. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You'll get a notification if we do go live and cover this. But yes, it's going to be today that this will be happening. Of course, BC leader David Eby, along with Conservative leader John Rustad and Green Party leader Sonia Furstenau. She'll be the first to know that she didn't get the leadership. That's for sure. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about all of this. Which way are you going to be voting in British Columbia? Are you in British Columbia? If you're not, let me know what do you think about British Columbia politics and the way it's been going. It seems a lot par for the course across Canada, how things have been going. In my opinion, in my estimate anyway, very left. Very radical left indeed, and people are waking up to this because the economy is not doing so hot. People are really concerned about keeping a roof over their head anymore. It's pretty daunting. A lot of people are even leaving the province because of it. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and of course, we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.